Okay, we're live. Thank you for joining us today on your Friday
Mhm.
morning or afternoon, depending on where you live. My name's Noah Adelstein. I run growth over here at Netick, and if you're not familiar, Netick's a end-to-end AI revenue engine that helps essential service companies with everything from autonomous inbound lead booking to outbound campaigns, in-depth analytics. And today, really excited to have Trevor Parker here. Second webinar we've run with Trevor. We ran one 2 weeks ago about how Trevor grew AllTech Services YouTube channel from 0 to 1.3 million subscribers in 2 weeks, and we'll send that link out to everybody afterwards if you want to watch that one. But today we'll be focused on how Trevor's using AI in kind of like not only the marketing at AllTech Services, but in the entire operation. I'm sort of reasonably new to the home service space and have been working kind of like Silicon Valley tech circles for a long time. And would just say I've been like super impressed and honestly inspired by a lot of the things that Trevor's been working on and in ways that he's kind of like thinking about creative ways to grow all tech services and use AI in operation. So yeah, Trevor, do you maybe want to just give kind of like quick intro about
Yeah, so
yourself?
I'm the director of marketing for AllTech Services. I've been here about 2 years, and it's been a fantastic journey as we've integrated so many AI programs into, as you were saying, across the board, not just marketing here at AllTech Services, but every single department that we use at AllTech Services has AI implemented in some way, and we're always trying to find ways to improve that and improve efficiency for the departments. For us, it's not about replacing anybody. It's really about making the job easier for them to make the job more efficient. Is 100% our goal of these.
Yeah. And so today we'll hit on a bunch of things. Trevor has like a bunch of cool demos teed up,
Mhm.
that we'll go through around personalized landing pages that he's building for the team. Trevor's built like a really sophisticated map to track all of the out of home kind of door hanger campaigns all tech's running. There's like a lot of really in-depth analytics work. What am I missing? And then a cool payroll app. And then what was the
Oh,
next one?
we had the website as well for our acquisition
Oh
that
yeah, yeah.
we replaced really quick because it was quite ugly before. But I'll get into that later with you guys. We have a whole
Yeah.
bunch of different apps to show.
Yeah, so really excited to dig into all that. Maybe just want to start, but before we do any kind of like show and tell, Trevor, and just kind of like hear how you think about where to use AI in the business, like where you come up with kind of like the ideas and projects that you work on as just kind of like a kind of starter question.
Yeah. So for us, especially coming from the marketing world, AI for me has always not been about doing the job better, but about doing the job, one, as I said, more efficiently before, and two, just doing the job faster because having that time only allows or gives you back more time to be doing other things. So, as you know, coming from the marketing world, my big thing is perfection is the enemy. I'm not looking for perfect. I'm looking to get something out. I'm looking for someone to actually be exposed to our brand. And I feel like you can apply that to the other departments as well in a little bit of a lighter way. Of course, you want to polish up and, you know, uh, be presenting 100% as much as you can. But let's say that I have a project where it's going to take me, 10 hours to get this done. It's going to take probably at least 2 to 3 different days out of the week where I could have AI be doing that. And then I could be doing another project at the same time. I mean, that's a big time saver right there for you. It's kind of like, why not? Now, there's a lot of people that get into a debate with me about, I feel like the AI can, I still feel like I can do this better than the AI. I still feel like my team is better than AI. And a lot of the times that is still applicable. But I think what a lot of people miss is what else could your team be doing while the AI is doing that? So, we use AI a lot for our videos and producing our production time to get them out faster. We could go back to being human first, but how much would that slow us down? We would reduce the amount of videos we could get out. You could apply the same for people's workload. With AI, you can get that workload done faster. You can give yourself more time for breaks, for getting more work out, or for even reviewing looks and seeing like, hey, is this work that actually needs to be done, or are we looking at this the wrong way? But if you're always, asking yourself, there's just not a, why is there not enough time in the day? Where can I find this time to actually sit down and breathe? I encourage you look at AI because that's the biggest strength of AI. the speed factor, not the polish factor, or the it can do, AI can do this better than human factor. It's about improving your efficiency.
Yeah, and I mean, especially in anything like marketing related, where the name of the game is running experiments, and finding things that are going to work. Then like having something that can help you run more experiments, and then you can always kind of like polish it, at the end as needed with humans and stuff like that. Well, Trevor, why don't we jump into your first demo, and would love maybe you just can kind of share like what everybody's looking at, why you built it, and then can kind of walk through.
Yeah, so this was actually one of the very first projects that I built with our AI program. We use an AI program called Manus, by the way, to build out a majority of our tools. I like to call it ChatGPT 2 because of all the different capabilities it's evolved over basic LLM like ChatGPT. But essentially, to give you guys a bit of a backstory on why this was created, we brought in a brand ambassador. Her name is Julia, about 6 months ago, as we were really looking to expand our physical presence in the community. We wanted someone that could be delivering door hangers when needed. We wanted someone that could be going to these local HOAs and new homeowner associations to really get the name in that door first. We also needed someone to go out and place these signs. And of course, I know a lot of companies have their technicians do it, or they hire companies to do it, but you don't exactly have that verification that it's being done if it's not internal, and especially if you're using text. I mean, they have a billion other things that they need to be doing, aside from putting down signs. So to get into it, because I know it looks like a lot from the back, but that's because we placed so many things down. There's a nice legend on the side, but let's look at this. So this is like a grocery store here called Martin's in Winchester, Virginia. We like to use our legend to mark all of the attractive places for customers and just people in general. So the high foot traffic people. So like at grocery store, putting a sign here is perfect. So you can see like here, we put a sign down on March 13th in Winchester. If you go over here with Panera, we put an AllTech sign down on March 19th as well. So basically, every little ping you see here is where we've either placed the sign, going to visit an HOA, or going to a neighborhood to put down a door hanger. And as you can see, this is our main headquarter area right here in that Sterling Ashburn area. You can see we put a lot of signs down. But my goal is to really bombard this even more, probably 2 to 3x what you see right here, and getting that, because this is the gold mine and getting your name out there. A lot of companies, especially if you are a local owned company who's not private equity owned, don't have the budget to compete with private equity in terms of like, our PPC budget is going to be $500,000 for the year. Well, your budget is probably like $100,000 max. And it's going to be very hard for you to compete. But right here, this is stuff that private equity does not typically do right now. They're not that focused on it right now. So if you can win, and it doesn't require a very significant budget, by getting your name out there locally, by putting some door hangers on different houses, by getting your signs down, and for hiring or for just brand purposes in general, or I very much would recommend that you guys start having your company representatives visit these local homeowner associations and new home associations. We've gotten a lot of benefit from being the first one in the door, as well as building that relationship for future referral in the once we build enough of that relationship. But so this is the map, and every time that my brand ambassador goes out for the day, her end of the day task is to mark where she's been. And we'll usually look at the map in our daily huddle and see where exactly we're light at, where exactly I might need her to go place at. Like if I were looking at the map right now with her, I'd probably be like, we're really kind of light in that Great Falls area, and I'm seeing a lot of different neighborhoods that we could potentially get out to and let them know of the AllTech name. So this is the general map section. This is the door hanger section that I built at. Right now, this only goes into a bit of Loudoun County, as I want to focus on dominating one county first before we start pivoting out into the other counties. So right here, you can see where it says 100%. It scanned all of the local homes in this area, and we're only going by the most profitable homes. So that's why it says 27 out of 27. And you can see that she came here on Stumble Cord Square and delivered 27 hangers on June 17th, which was about a week ago. and logged her progress there. You can see going over here to another section of Loudoun County where we have 300 homes logged, and she's delivered to about 185, going down to One Loudoun, Roosevelt Square, Medway Terrace, and a bunch of other streets. And this helps give me a general idea of, okay, we have all these different houses and all these different developments. How many have we actually touched? This will actually be getting an upgrade very soon with the Mapbox API. If anybody's familiar with that, that's a very granular housing API that lets you get the exact house and resident and customer. That will be a substantial upgrade to this, so that we're not just going by kind of Google Map estimates, but knowing exactly the houses that we've already touched, where we've already been, and who we still need to target. And then, of course, we'll expand that out across the other counties as we complete this.
So, Trevor, can I ask you a question on this really quick? How has this been working? I imagine, one of the really nice things about this is you can literally track every single home.
Yeah, 100%.
And say what jobs are coming in.
We had no idea what was happening. Well, I had no idea what was happening with my brand ambassador before I was able to create a map like this, because I'm just sending her out in a car, and for the most part, it's a hope and a prayer that she's actually doing her job. Now, I do, especially when she first started, I would go back and verify, going through the neighborhood to make sure that things were actually up. But with this, this allows me to see where she actually is reporting, saying that she placed them. So when I do go and do my validation check that they were placed and placed correctly, it has to match up exactly to this. Without that, she could be like, well, I went over to Winchester, and then, I drive an hour over there. I might be wasting my time if I don't know where I'm going, or if she didn't actually do it. But this really helps validate that she's actually doing her job, and helps me validate that as well. Especially as well for some of our top level management, our senior management. So like our founder and our chief of operations, they need a way to know what's going on in my department other than what I'm just telling them. They need a quick way to be like, okay, Trevor's brand ambassador has been here, here, and here. And it's not just something that the marketing department is able to see. We open this up to all of the departments in our company. So even my our recruiting manager, he's very involved in looking at this map and getting to me and being like, hey, I saw that we had some recruiting signs placed in, Winchester and Fairfax and Ashburn, but I really need some placed down south in Marshall. Or probably about 3 weeks ago, he was asking me if we could get some placed in Arlington or Springfield. So it helps dial down exactly for, across the board at the company, this is where our brand ambassador is doing. And, if you need her to be doing something, you have the access as well to make that suggestion.
Yep. And what about in terms of like book jobs and sort of like the ROI on this effort? Have you guys been able to measure that?
So no, and that's really where the Mapbox API is really going to help, because remember I was telling you, especially when it gets into like, seeing exactly where these homes are, it's hard to tie that back to a customer without having that exact address that we can tie to the customer. Because with that door hanger look, like right here, we're just getting general estimates of, sorry, I'm pulled into the wrong county. We're just getting general estimates of the area and the homes that they have. So like this one's 5,339 homes because it's pulling from a wide thing like this. But the Mapbox API will literally give us house by house by house, and we'll be able to tag each one. So yeah, coming soon is what I would say.
Nice. Yeah, well, and this gives you the foundation to then be able to go track.
Exactly. Last two sections, I just wanted to show it that we have in here. This is the HOA tracker. So we're able to show what ones we've already visited. And then it gives my brand ambassador a nice little schedule, so she knows exactly when we need to go back for second visit, third visit. Just continue building past that first initial touch where we deliver a gift box. On the secondary and third visits and so forth, we like to go back with baked goods every time and just, build that relationship. And then we also, this is a newly built section. We have a school section in here so I can track. We really want to build more partnerships with our local schools, especially with this back to school season coming up in August. So this is going to be a big project for my brand ambassador to ensure that she's touched all of these schools, that we're continuing to go back to them just like the HOAs, and that we're refreshing any opportunities that may be available. And then she will note those opportunities in here as well.
That's awesome. If you have any questions on any of this, feel free to drop them in Q&A tab on the right side also, and we can go through any of that.
I've also had a few talks with some of the AI partners that we've been working with, and they're very interested in this project as a whole. So we will probably be making some API connections potentially to them so that they can test out some functions as well with this, as they see a lot of potential in this. So more to come on that as well.
Yeah, no, this one's awesome.
Mm-hmm. All right, moving on to my second one. I think a lot of you marketers would be very, very interested in this. Now, I have this on demo data right now, as I don't want to give away our internal information right now. You can always reach out to me if you want a more inside look. But this is our marketing budget calculator. This is a calculator I built for our company so that we could see exactly from our historicals and all the different parties that we're running with what we need to reach that target lead count. So this is going off of our BPW target right now. So let's say going off the demo data, they needed to reach 715 calls for that vertical. This will allow you to play with your different platforms like Yelp. So going like this, let's say it's at $75 a day and you were curious, you're like, what if we pushed our Yelp up to $100 a day? What effect would that really have on our total lead count and closing that gap closer to reach it? By messing with these scales right here, you can change how much is going to be in a day. And this is, again, it's going off of the Service Titan historicals. So if you were getting 34 leads in the past 90 days from your original scaling, it's going to look at that and then it's going to scale that into this, and it's going to be like, okay, well, if you're spending at $100 a day now, typically you can expect you to get 177. If you increase that to 115, or you'll probably expect about 199 leads. Same thing with these other platforms. What that does is it changes this scale up here as well. So now you're able to see how much progress you're making towards your BPW target. And then if you can get that perfect level. Let's say we push this up to 145, we push this up to 160. Now you're very close to the target that you were looking for, while also ensuring that you're going off of the historicals. So it's not just a guess. It's a very educated guess going off of your historicals. Now you still have to worry about things like saturation risk. I put that in here as a thing that it will tell you. It's gonna, right now it's comparing off of our competitors. But if you build this out, you can always just build that out to go, referencing your competitors. So this tells you if you're going over the norm, if you're being aggressive, if it's an optimal right now, you can change it like this, recommended. The AI will go in there, look at what your platforms currently are at. It will tell you, okay, to reach the target, this is what I'm telling you guys to recommend right now. It's not going to give you a recommendation that is just like a flat, bam, this is what you need to reach 715 calls. It's going to tell you what you're currently at for your call tracker and give you a recommended as a general boost. So that's why when I hit recommended, it went to 549 and not going to 715, because we don't want you to take this tool, or at least we don't at our company. You can definitely do your own thing at your company, but we don't want to, let's add in 50,000 a month for all these platforms because this is what the AI is saying is going to work. We want to slow roll it. I have some good confidence in the AI. I'm the one who built this out. I know all the formulas in it, but we still, even if I was the one just saying this manually, we would still slow roll this because you want to make sure there's actually, it's actually working. There's always going to be a bunch of hidden factors. Culture and regions are always going to be different, but just ensure that you're actually getting what you're expecting from this. And then you can push those scales up to reach the 100% that you need. There's also some functions like in here where you can get some more analysis and analytics, as well as some recommendations. So like the call demand gap, it'll tell you what you're missing. It'll go into the service side and historicals of, what you're reaching for the past months before. You can do the comparison view, so you can see exactly based off of the platform budget in here, what you're spending for each platform, what that comparison looks like. I also have the industry recommendations. This is really just trying to look at what the industry is doing as a whole. So again, this is really going off of our competitors right now. And then lastly, there's even an AI advisor in here. So let's just say you have some questions about this that, this just isn't answering questions. So let's pick this one. What channels are wasting money on the demo mode right now? And for the most part, I mean, it's going to go off of the information here. You can ask it any question you want, and it will try to answer it. So like here, like, hey, based on this demo data, these channels are highly inefficient based on the projected lead. Reddit for only 58 leads, OpenAI for a mere 15. And that gives you, especially for your senior management, but I might not want to click through all this and think about it. They can just go to AI Advisor and just type in the questions that they have for you and for it to answer. This is a valuable tool, not just for the marketing team and me as the person who sets the budget for these platforms in general, so I know where to go, but also for senior management so they can play with it themselves and they have a greater look at where the budget is actually going and what they're expecting.
Sweet. Have a couple questions in the chat on this one. So first one, is the tool tied to ServiceTitan for the historical data? I think you said the answer to that is yes.
So it's tied to all of our ad platforms that have an API can connect to. It's tied to our ServiceTitan. It's tied to our Searchlight as well for an additional data sweep and validation.
Yep. And then the second question is, does the ServiceTitan data account for diminishing returns at all? I think the answer to that is no, but that's why you've sort of built this out in a way that allows you to.
Yes, it actually does account for diminishing returns, and that's where it starts to get those saturation levels. There's a formula in there for that as well as looking at what your competitors are actually pulling, and the APIs help with that immensely because a lot of them have that data in there to pull from. But no, as well, in the sense that there is also coming soon to this app a bigger update that is going to take into account a lot more of these individual factors. So there's I had a very smart person from a company named Arch out here about a week ago, and I had him reviewing this, and he gave me some very genius ideas on how to really polish up a lot of the formulas that I currently have in here. As well as a whole graph system that I need to implement into Manus, or just this app in general, to account for some of these things. So half yes, half no right now. Last thing I want to say on this project, though. Oh, sorry, I know you had more questions.
No, go for it.
I just want to say, this is just going off of our data right now. I see, out of all the apps I have right now, I probably see the most potential in this app right now. And that's because I run a marketing roundtable, and I'm looking to see if they're willing to pipe in their data as well. Because I feel like the more data we can get from across the country and really build out an average across the country of what a platform looks like per dollar for what amount of leads you're getting, this could only be better and better and more accurate. I know that there's going to be a lot of differences in region and the culture and how you run your company. But I still feel like the more companies we do get into here and are willing to share that information, and we can keep it anonymized so you're not giving out your financials. It's just going to create this perfect system where you'll be able to tell, like, okay, if I put in $2,000 to Google LSA, this is exactly how many leads I'll get. Right now, I would say it's at about an 80% accuracy rating. I'm really hoping to get that to 90-95% at the minimum.
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple things I love about this. One is, like, it probably makes communicating with your executive team at AllTech a lot easier, because there's just like
100%. That's one of the main reasons I built this out, because I was like, this is kind of frustrating trying to explain all of this and without a visual piece to really go along with it. So I was like, well, why don't I just create it instead of waiting for someone to create it for me?
And then Trevor, I mean, I'm also curious, like, have you made any decisions based off of this that have ended up being impactful?
Yeah, we actually just upped our budget by about 30,000 for the year last week, based off of what this was telling us, and we've actually already seen a substantial improvement in, I wouldn't say all of our platforms, not yet, but for a lot of them. I mean, for just a week, I'm surprised I'm already seeing a sharp push, but some of them we did bump up quite substantially.
Nice, that's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Well, why don't we keep it going?
All right, for this next project, this one is basically making your ServiceTitan a lot more visually aesthetic. And I know some of you guys already have Searchlight for that, but even that can be a handful. So we wanted to create a marketing dashboard that essentially, would tell us what campaigns are doing best by all the verticals that we wanted to see. So like, let's say you wanted to go by leads and see, what exactly is going on with my Google Ads campaigns. What is performing the best out of all my campaigns? What's doing the best for leads? What do I have the most booked jobs out of? What is providing me the most canceled jobs? So I can maybe look at that. What is providing me the most sold jobs, so I can maybe a review of my technicians, what's going on when they go to these certain type of jobs, and then it's comp rate, sold rate, average sale, and then total revenue. I use this pretty much daily to look at what's going on as well. You can change it to different time dates as well if you want to be like, oh, what was happening for the past year? What was happening for the past 30 days? I use this a lot to get a general cadence of what is performing the best. What do I really need to look at in terms of like what's performing the worst? You get the performance by category down here as well, top campaigns by category level to make it easier. And then something I really love to use in here is this today's incoming leads feature that gives you a general function of what actually came in. I'll give you the exact time it came in as well. And I wouldn't go off of just one day for that, but if you're going off of a pattern that you're noticing every day that you're going and looking at today's leads, I'm seeing like these Netic is providing the most amount of leads to me. Reddit is providing continuously the most amount of leads to me every single day. I mean, you're going to get that data eventually in here, but just being able to see that daily visual really does help you pinpoint as a marketer what campaigns are doing well and which ones you really need to review. As well, I have in here, although it still needs a few kinks adjustments, a CPL tracker so that you can go in and see like, okay, this CPL for this campaign is absolutely ridiculous, or this CPL is doing really well. Maybe I need to review some of my other PPC campaigns to see how I can get their CPC to similar levels, or sorry, CPL.
Yeah, this is awesome. Does this do you run into issues with attribution?
Technically not, because it's running from both ServiceTitan and Searchlight again. So any app I build, I like to have Searchlight as a backup, because sometimes our ServiceTitan data does get corrupted. I mean, we're just like any other company. I'm not going to say we're immune, but Searchlight is typically more accurate than our ServiceTitan, and this will, with the API setup I have building these out, it will always take the Searchlight data as the clean data over the ServiceTitan data. So typically, I haven't run into too many attribution errors. I've done so many validation tests. I go insane if I have to do another one. But we should be 100% good from all the tests I've done now on this platform, at least.
That makes sense. Denise asks what package of ServiceTitan you're using, and if you need the ads integration with ServiceTitan DNI to get this level of visibility.
I think she's talking about the ads integration in terms of the there's a ServiceTitan ads on Marketing Pro that you can add. That's really for like PPC. You don't need that for this. This is literally just as long as you can set up your LLM, we use Manus, with your API for ServiceTitan is very easy. All you have to do is go into the developer portal for ServiceTitan, get the codes you need, set it up, then go into your regular ServiceTitan client and connect that as well. It should only take you about 30 minutes max. But yeah, you don't need the ads platform. As terms of what package of ServiceTitan we're on, I'm not 100% sure for that. I'd have to get back to you on that. I'd have to ask my founder, Abe.
Yeah, that makes sense. And have you thought about combining this one with the one that you showed before?
With the marketing budget?
Yeah.
Yes and no. I mean, only yes, because it would be nice to have like a visual of everything on just one page. But at the same time, I feel like it's probably going to end up bloating it too much. So I always have like 500 different tabs up anyway, so it's not a big deal for me.
Yeah, that makes sense. And then is this one of these things that it's like you build it once, and then you're like pretty much good to go, or like how do you kind of?
Oh God, I wish, but it just wouldn't work out that way. I want to let everybody know, especially for anybody that has a CEO that may be watching this as well and is like, I want my guy to be building out these AI programs as well. Every single one of these AI programs, and even the ones I don't show on here, require maintenance. And it's very important that you keep that in mind, because it's very easy to start going into these LLMs and saying, I want to build this and I want to build that and I want to build this. And suddenly you have like 100 different projects built. And the one you built first, or in the first 20 of them, they're barely hanging on, or they don't even work anymore because the last time you checked it was like 2 months ago. Every single project I build in here, I make sure I have a maintenance plan in, because these things will break. It's not a make it and forget it, especially working with these APIs. These API connections break all the time, and you need to be there to ensure that they're being refreshed, that they're actually working. And sometimes things just break. Sometimes I'll go in and something will be like, how did this even break? But you can go in and easily fix it as long as you have that maintenance plan set up and you still have that task, in your system ready to work on. But yeah, I just really know, I've talked to a lot of people about building things out, and I've seen it happen so many times where they get burnt out on, oh, I didn't realize that I also needed to be, do maintenance on this. I thought it would do maintenance itself. No, you still have to be in there saying, this is broken, that's broken, I need you to fix it. Now, LLM will fix it for you, but it's not going to read your mind. It's typically not going to read the thing continually looking for mistakes unless you're throwing tons of credits to make that happen.
Yeah, no, I mean it's a good call out as you're building these things. It's like start with one, make sure you understand how much time it's actually going to take to keep it going before kind of move into the next thing. Sweet. Well, yeah. Do you wanna move on to the
now moving
next one?
on to the leaderboard? This is something that we do not have live yet at the company, but it's coming very soon. We're just working on a few different kinks. We wanted a way for our departments to be able to view, how am I doing for the week? How am I doing for the month? How am I doing for the year? And within the category, they're locked so that it's not like HVAC servers can see HVAC install or plumbing. They can only see their own category. How am I doing compared to my coworkers? So this is on demo mode again. So it's showing you hypothetical names. But let's say Alex Riviera was curious how he's doing in the week compared to Jordan Smith. Oh, I'm number one right now. I've got the most amount of revenue made. I've got 10 reviews. I 0 SPPs, but I have 3 TGLs done. Nobody else has as many as me, and my conversion right now is at 100%. He's feeling good about himself. He deserves to feel good about himself. But maybe, Emery King down here or River Young right here at all zeros is not feeling so good about themselves. Maybe they're like, dang, what's going on? Well, now this is the chance for them to look at Alex up here, or Jordan or Casey, and say, hey, this person's doing really well. Maybe I should go over to them and ask them, hey, what are you doing for reviews? How are you getting customers to give you reviews after you finish your job with them? What are you saying? What is the impression you're giving to them? How did you make 2,000 this week? I'm at 0 right now. I'd really like to, increase the amount of money I'm personally making, like I believe we all would. Or maybe their conversion rate is 0% and they're wanting to know how they get their conversions up. This gives the chance and the accessibility to our team to find the answers themselves within the team that they already work with. They may not even know that Alex is doing this well, and I kind of doubt that right now any of them would. But this will be an app on all of their phones. We already have the app ready. It's just getting the kinks route. That they'll be able to go in and see at any time. So maybe they're like, oh, okay, well, maybe I'm not doing so good for the week, but maybe let's look at myself for the month. Maybe I'm doing better there, or maybe they just want to look at who's the best for the month. And it's the same for the year as well. So they're able to get in there and see, oh man, Alex has just been running it for the year. He's doing an amazing job. I need to learn what he's doing so I can improve my own skill set. I'm excited for this because I truly feel like it just gives the tools to the team to empower themselves.
And so how did you guys sort of deal with this before? Like, was it just maybe like in, the team meetings that happen once a week?
Yeah.
Over the leaderboard?
Before, it would literally just be we have daily huddles with our HVAC manager and his guys, and the plumbing manager and his guys. And they'll typically maybe make a competition or bring up the stats that they're seeing within ServiceLine. But, our technicians don't want to go into ServiceLine and dig through the information to see all of this. They want it very accessible. They have too many other things that they need to be focusing on anyways. To make it simple, just a one-click app. Oh, that's how I'm doing for the week. Great. I'm at the top. Awesome. Oh, I'm at the bottom. I need to improve my game, or ask someone who's at the top what I can improve. It's just going to be great for us.
Yeah. And one of the things I love about this is it's like your job is marketing, right? And so in theory, it's like marketing shouldn't like isn't like directly responsible for quote unquote sales, but it's like you've kind of taken it on yourself to say, look, like my goal is to go increase revenue, and this is a way to,
Oh,
help everybody
100%.
learn from each other and friendly competition and
Mhm.
and all those things. And so it's like really smart.
Yeah, and I mean, improving the competition within our technicians and giving them the resources to empower themselves is only going to improve the bottom line for AllTech as a whole. So, I mean, that only helps me at the end of the day as well, because as well with them really feeling this and really feeling like they need to, improve if they're not doing well right now. That's only going to improve that overall conversion and booking rate. You're definitely gonna see the return on the marketing side eventually.
Yeah, no, 100%. Yeah, and then it'll make your campaigns better.
Yep. All right, now
Cool.
getting into some of the or back to the marketing world. I know there's a lot of people that work with agencies to build out their landing pages, to build out maybe their websites. Um, we worked with an agency very recently that we're moving on from now, that I just was never very happy with their creative team, especially in terms of like our PPC landing pages. It's like we're spending so much a month for advertising only to send them to a page that looks like it came from the 90s. I don't know if some of you are familiar with GeoCities, but it looked like a GeoCities page. And that, that really hurts as a marketing perspective. What are we doing to push all these customers to be spending, nearly 50,000 a month on PPC alone, and you're spending them to a website that looks like the 90s? What are we doing with our money? So I worked with Manus to make us some new landing pages. I wanted something that had a very visually appealing hero video. People love hero videos. Something that's not too hard on the copy, is very straight to the point in terms of how to book, call to action, the phone number, what the brand actually is, what the service they're providing actually is, as well as what we actually, what our biggest hooks are for service. And then if they're interested, you give them a little bit more information in terms of like, I love the how it works journey. We have the water service for more stuff in terms of the water softener, what we actually include. Why choose AllTech? Why go with us over the 3,000 other competitors we have in this area? A little hook regarding our free water quality test, and then some legitimacy boost in terms of past reviews. And then this came in this little hook. If you go down too far or you spend too long on the page, it'll come up with a little pop-up asking if you want a book and saying like, hey, still need water service, softener service, and then some frequently asked questions and a little map so you know where we are in that area. For us, this dramatically changed our conversion rate for our PPC campaigns. I believe we saw at least a 10% increase across the board. And unfortunately, I don't think I have the old landing page up to show you guys, but just doing a one-to-one of what the old one, very ugly compared to now. I mean, it was a night and day change. Something I can show you guys is this right here. So this is our Shenandoah Electrical page. You can see it at shenandoahelectrical.com. This is a live page right now. We also created this with Manus. It's a full website page. It's not just a landing page. You can see it has different pages. This is what the page looked like before when we first acquired Shenandoah Electrical. We were not, of course, we were not happy with this. We did not think it was going to draw in any customers, and of course, it was not. So we needed to make an immediate change, but we weren't that confident in our agency's creative skills. So I took it upon myself to create this with Manus to replace instead. Now, some of you might be like, "Oh man, he probably spent a few weeks on this." This, to be honest with you guys, this took me 30 minutes, if not a little bit less, to make in Manus. It's simple. And if you can replace some of this really ugly old content, this is where I was coming, I'm referring back to that speed thing I was talking to you guys about in the beginning. You're probably going to spend making this manually, trying to code it yourself, months. Maybe if you're very experienced in it, weeks trying to recreate something like this. If you use AI and you can create something like this in 30 minutes to replace something that looks like this while you're doing something else, why not do that? I mean, that's more efficiency than I could find anywhere else right now. And that's why I always bring it back to efficiency, because I could be spending time recreating this, but I could also be spending that time on far many other things that the business needs right now. So being able to get something like this that works, this number fully works, this fully works in terms of sending to the J.R. Snyder email and getting them leads. It just works and it looks great. So I would rather spend the time on Manus and having it use its time while I'm using that time on other things, maybe even building out some of these other projects you've built, than doing everything human first.
Yeah. Do you want to just show like how easy this is on the back end too?
Yeah.
To
So
set
like,
up. So, like one of the, like just, for everybody's kind of context, it's like to get this to set up, you really just need the AI system hooked up to like a live website.
mhm.
And then once you can do that, then you can like very quickly deploy new pages.
So it's as
And
simple.
so
It's as simple as going into Manus, letting it know exactly what type of page you need. It'll give you a visual preview of exactly what you'll be receiving, and you can say, "Hey, I need blah 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 blah. I need this to look golden," and it'll make it golden for you. And then it's not like you're working off a constantly live site, although you can. It's not pushing any of these updates until you publish the update. So I don't want you guys to be intimidated by how hard this looks. I'd rather you try out it with some of these programs like Manus or Claude first, and then decide how truly difficult you think it is, because I have a general amount of experience in tools like this, but I am not saying I'm a master in like making my own websites. I have some website editing experience from the past, but it's not like it was a full-time job ever for me. It's not like I'm the one who coded this. Our LLM did.
yeah, that's awesome. Well, we're coming up close to time. So if you have any final questions, definitely drop those in the chat for Trevor. Trevor, like super appreciate you sharing
Yeah, no problem.
all
I
these
just want to
projects, like really impactful.
can
Yeah,
I
let's
throw
do
one
this.
last project?
Yeah.
So I think this is important for people who are like, how do I really put this to the different departments of my business? So this is a payroll app we made. And again, this is going off of full demo data. So nothing you see in here is real data. It was taking our accounting team quite a while, a few hours every week to do payroll and make sure it was verified. We scaled and grown a lot, so we have a lot more people now. This took the payroll process down from 3 to 4 hours to just 5 minutes. So let me show you how it works. It pulls the latest pay period. So like for here, it'd be June 14th to June 24th. Once it pulls that pay period, and again, all of this data in here is fake, hypothetical, it gives them a final of what the actual commission looks like for each technician. Now, all the accounting team needs to do is go into their system, whether that's ServiceTitan or their payment system, ensure that this data right here is accurate, and you can click like a little marker right here for approved, or edit it if it's wrong, or flag it if you need to. Maybe you're working with multiple people, or if you approve it all, you can just hit the approve all button. Now, once you hit the approve all button, it will take all of this data. It will apply a formula that's needed for uploading this into Paylocity. It will take that formula data. It will put it all into a CSV that is ready to import into Paylocity, which is our payment program. And then all the accounting team has to do is take that CSV and upload it to Paylocity, and they're done. So for them, it's one click for getting the latest pay period. And this will actually every Monday automatically pull the previous week. So they don't even have to click. Go through this, click one thing, it applies the formula, gives them the CSV, and then they're done. So from 4 hours every week to just 5 minutes. This has been one of the biggest projects for us, just in terms of how much efficiency it's provided to the company in terms of saving time versus, and that's 4 hours the accounting team can spend on many other projects, of which I know they have many.
Yeah, no, I mean, this is just a great example. It's like this AI stuff applies to, not just marketing, not just sales. I mean, kind of think about it across your entire business.
I truly believe that you can find a use case for every department of your company. And if you're struggling to find where you can really find that use case, message me. We might be working on something here that I can give you some advice for. Or we can always talk. I love talking to people about this because it's very easy to get tunnel visioned, and you're only able to think of your ideas. When you talk to other people, you're able to bounce those ideas off of them and yourself, and you start thinking of things you had no idea about, or weren't even thinking about before.
Yeah, 100%.
Now,
Yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say for the questions, I just wanted to go ahead and answer a few before we leave. I saw Denise had asked, would you recommend one AI tool over the other, Claude versus Manus? Denise, I personally use Manus. There's a lot of people in the marketing roundtable I host that use Claude. Now, I feel like the biggest strength of Manus right now is there's a built-in visual editor. So where I was showing you guys before, right here, where it shows you literally what you're building, what it's going to look like before you publish out the next update or publish it out to go live at first for launch. This is a massive, massive benefit for me. I don't like looking at things that are just in raw data form and then having to go and upload them and then being able to see it. It's just, you lose so much time with that. So personally, I recommend Manus pretty much for this feature alone. Now, Claude, once it potentially gets its 5.0 tapped back, which is currently banned right now, I would maybe say use Claude if you're looking for, you know, some very coding use cases. But it's one, going to depend on the project that you're doing, and two, going to depend on your personal preferences. Overall, I would recommend Manus to most people. I just feel like the visual editor is going to make it 10 times easier for you guys to understand what's going on and how your product's actually going to look and come out to clients than trying to work with Claude and just that raw view. Additionally, I saw a question from Madison Marsh on, is there a tracking number on the door hangers? There is a tracking number on all of our door hangers, so we can see as best we can track. You know, there's always going to be people that look at the door hanger and then go and Google the company, and we don't know that it's from the door hanger, but there is a number so that we can track the people that actually do call that number that's on there.
Awesome. Well, thank you everybody for joining, and Trevor, thanks so much for sharing all of the cool things that you guys have been building. And I know this is not even it. I know you got a lot of other.
Oh yeah, we have a lot more coming, and I didn't even show you guys some of the big projects. We try to keep some cards close to our chest.
Yeah, actually, there's one final question. Galen wants to know what type of prompt or build out do you use for landing pages, or do you have a stock template?
I don't really. It's a kind of a hard question for me to answer because I don't typically work with like templated prompts or anything. All of my prompts are things that I write to the AI myself. And, you know, I've been working with AI intensely for probably the past 2 years. So I have a lot of experience with my prompts now. I don't know. Here's the thing with things like Claude and ChatGPT as well. It gets very annoying working with them in that you have to have a perfect prompt so that it can, especially if it's a very big task, so that it can take that prompt and give you exactly what you need. But something as well that I love about Claude, like I could show it to you here. So you'll see, like typically in like Claude and ChatGPT, you'd have to wait until it's finished with this task until you could be like, actually, I want that to be. But you can see as it's thinking right now, I can say, hey, actually, I need that to be blue, and it'll take that in consideration. It can be working on a task, and you can still give it suggestions while it's working on it. And this is, it seems small, but it's absolutely huge. I would very much recommend Manus almost for this feature alone, because it's hard for me to go back to other LLMs when I can't constantly make changes to it when it's working on something, especially because I like to watch Manus. I have a coding background, so I can see sometimes when it's coding something the wrong way or not the way that I want it to be. It's very useful to be able to get that instant feedback and instant, no, I want it this way, or actually I want it this way, without interrupting the full task. It's going to save you so much time. But yeah, I don't really work with any stock templates. I don't like stock templates, and I don't really work with stock prompts or anything. If you would like an example of how I build out some of these apps, I can always give you guys a segmented transcript of what exactly I'm saying to the bot to build out these apps. I would have to go, you'd have to probably email me for that though, because I need to clean these transcripts out of like the API information that I give it, so you guys wouldn't be able to see our keys. Noah, you're actually muted for me right now. I don't know if something
Oh,
happened.
my bad.
There we
Yeah. Oh
go.
no, I was saying there's no more questions, so I think we're all good. Thanks for jumping on and sharing all this, and thank you to everybody for joining, and have a great rest of your Friday.
Awesome. Well, thank you for having me, Nova.